Hello everyone, welcome to Study Vibration, and I am your friend Diksha, and today we are going to discuss about Class 6 NCRT Science chapter number 4, and the name of the chapter is Sorting the Materials into the Group. Sorting the Materials into the Group. So first, let us start with our objectives. So the name of the chapter is Sorting Materials into the Group. So what do you mean by sorting material into the groups? You already know what is a material, what is meaning of a material, and what is meaning of group. So when I talk about sort means to divide the things amongst their qualities and their properties. Okay, so first let's talk about today's objective. So we have already done chapter number 1, chapter number 2, chapter number 3, and here we are with chapter number 4, and the objectives are introduction of this chapter, object around us, properties of material. First is appearance, second is hardness, third is soluble and insoluble, fourth is float and sink, fifth is transparency, and then we are gonna talk about the summary and then the question for the day. Now, when I talk about introduction, what first do you mean by sort? Sort means when we divide something into groups. Okay, so based on their qualities, quantities, colors, appearance, luster, luster. So when I talk about this picture here, a girl or a boy is just dividing his shapes on the based on the colors. So here are the mixture of the shapes, and here he has divided all the colors into the different colors plate. So green, blue, orange, purple, or violet, red, and yellow. He has divided his shapes amongst these all colors. Okay, so this is a type of sort, and you can also say something that is based on food, qualities, quantities, and etc. So here he was dividing based on colors, but he could also divide based on the shapes. So sorting means dividing something into different uh, groups, or in different ways, so that we can easily identify with the properties of the thing, and we can that helps us in seeing or in analyzing an object. Okay, understood what do you mean by sort, and what are the uses of this sorting. Okay, so after this introduction, we are going to talk about objects around us. You can see various objects around you. For example, your laptop, your mobile, your worksheets, your books, and your copies, or a wall. You are living in a house. Or house, you can see different things, curtains or a fan. So these are different things or varieties of material around you. Okay, so let's read this. We have seen we have seen that our food and clothes have so much of varieties in them. Acha, you are wearing the clothes. Now, what type of cloth you are wearing? You are wearing a frock, or you are wearing a jeans top, or you are wearing a skirt or top, or shorts. It's different variety in clothes too, and food too. Now when I talk about food, you have different varieties of food: Italian, then Chinese, and then Indian food, South Indian food, and many varieties of food you have. And in that you are having pasta, pizza, and poha, jalebi. So these are different varieties of food, not just food and clothes. Here, one more point: not just food and clothes, there is such vast variety of object everywhere. Means there are many types of varieties in objects, in objects everywhere. Wherever you go, you will see a variety of an object, okay, around you. For example, a chair, a bullock cart, a cycle, cooking in utensils, book, cloths, toys, water, stones, and many other objects. All these objects have different shapes, colors, and their uses. So here we have I just explained you that there are different varieties of objects. There are different, vast varieties of object everywhere. You can see some objects around you. They have their different sizes, different shape, different color, and different uses. Okay, so when I talk about some objects that you can see around you are some toys, laptop, book, or mobile. So if you are seeing this video on a mobile, if you are seeing this video on a mobile, so uh, I know that mobile has its different properties. For example, mobile is a electronic device. It works from electricity. Same here with laptop. Laptop has many keys, and has a big screen too. And when I talk about toys, there are many varieties of toy too. Some works from electricity, and some are just for playing here and there without any plug, without any electricity. When I talk about book, it could be kept anywhere. So these objects have their different properties. So when I talk about properties of a material, we see then, हमने ये सारी चीजें देखी. We see then that we choose a material to make an object depending on its property. Here a very important thing is said that we choose a material. Acha, in winters your mama says or your grandma says, it's too windy today, please wear a sweater or a shawl. So why she tries to force you to wear it? Because we know depending on its property. Now what is the sweater property? To keep you warm from inside. So here is the property of a sweater. So grandma forces you to wear that because of the properties of a sweater and purpose of which the object is used. Now a sweater is used for the windy day or for cold. When you are having cold and cough, your mother forces you to wear a sweater. Okay, because of its property that it keep you warm. Now our first property is appearance. Now when I talk about appearance, it's of two types: lustrous and non-lustrous. Lustrous means shiny. Wait. Lustrous means shiny, and non-lustrous means no. Non-lustrous means, you know, that the opposite of shiny. It's not shiny. Okay, so you understood that lustrous means shiny and non-lustrous means non-shiny. So let's talk about appearance more in detail. Material usually look different from each other. Now when I take a book and when I take a copy in my hand, what is the difference between these both? Book is looking too big and copy is looking a little small. Why so? Because they are different from each other. Wood look different from iron. Iron appears different from copper and aluminium. At the same time, there may be similarities between iron, copper, and aluminium that are not in wood. Now, let me explain you. I just gave you an example of copy and a book. That copy looks smaller from a book and book look larger from a copy. So, this is the difference between these both. Now, when I talk about similarities, these both materials are used to study only. Now, wood looks very different from an iron. Now, when I take a material of a wooden scale, and I took a iron or steel scale, they are different from each other. Why? They both are scale, but why they are different from each other? One is wood, which is not looking similar to a iron, or iron is more shiny and wood is less shiny, or it's not shiny. Now, when I talk about similarity between iron, copper, and aluminium, they they all actually they all are similar to each other because of their luster or their shine. At the same time, there may be difference between iron and copper and aluminium too. Okay. Now, when I talk about wood and aluminium is shiny, as I told you, and wood doesn't look good like an aluminium. Understood the difference between lustrous and non-lustrous? Now, when I talk about the next property, that is a hardness. Now, you can easily just take two toys. I have taken a toy which is a teddy bear made up of cotton, and I took a Shinchan cartooned toy which is not made up of a plastic layer. Okay, so when I talk about this both, one one is easily be squeezed, and another is I'm not able to squeeze another one. So because of what property I'm not able to squeeze the shinchan? Because of its hardness. Okay, when you press different material with your hand, some of them may be easily hard to compress while other is easily compressed. Just I told you, take a metal key. Now I have took a metal key, or if you don't have a metal key, try to bring some metal material and try to compress it, try to push it up with both your hand. It wouldn't be. Okay, because it is hard. Now when I take a teddy bear, I can easily compress it, and it is not difficult to compress a teddy bear because it's soft. So in hardness, there are two things: hard and soft. Hard means easy, difficult to compress, difficult to compress, and soft means easy to compress. Understood the difference between hard and soft? This is so easy. Now, when I talk about a teddy bear, I just have it, and I am easily able to compress it. But when I talk about Shinchan layer toy, it's too difficult to compress it. So understood? Now our next property is solubility. We call substance that dissolves in water are soluble. Now when I talk about sugar, it easily dissolves in the water. It easily mixes in the water and then disappear after some time. So thus sugar is soluble in the water. So we can call it sugar as soluble. Sugar as soluble. Okay, sugar as soluble. And here when I talk about sand, it's not soluble in the water. It sits down in the water. It sediments in the water. So I would be calling it non soluble in the water. So sugar and salt are easily can be easily dissolved in the water, so they are known as the soluble substances. And substances that cannot be dissolved in the water are known as insoluble substances. For example, sand and flour, these are the examples of insoluble substances. Now here we have some substances, and we need to tell they are soluble or not. So sugar disappears completely in the water, so this is soluble. Sand do not disappears in the water, so this is insoluble. Chalk, chalk powder, this sits down in the water and do not disappear, so this is also insoluble. Sawdust, this is also insoluble in the water, so I will be writing insoluble. Okay, so we just understood what is soluble and insoluble. So when a sugar is added to the water, sugar plus water, it mixes up. When sand is added to the water, sand sits down like this. So this is known as the sedimentation. Okay, but sedimentation, जब sedimentation होता है किसी भी चीज का, तो हम उसको बोलते हैं insoluble in the water. Now our next property है object may float or sink in the water. Some object floats on the water, some object sinks in the bottom and sits down at the bottom. Object which are heavier can sink, whereas object which is lighter can float in the water. When leaf from a tree fall in the pond of water, it floats. Is floating in the water. Ball is also floating in the water. A iron key is sinked in the water. Some coins are sinked in the water, and a piece of a toy or something is also floating on the water. Now our next property is, wait, let me write it over here, transparency. Now when I talk about transparency, this have three things: transparent, translucent and opaque. So when I take a transparent, what do you mean by transparent? When the object from which the light is passing, they are transparent. Now when I keep a book, the light is not passing that way. So I can't see that way. So this means the object is opaque. Transparent means the light passes through the object. Translucent means some light is passing through the object. And opaque means no light is passing through the object. So this is the difference between these three. Okay, when I talk about examples of transparent, translucent, and opaque, transparent means glass window, opaque means the window which is covered with some particles or some water so that we can see it translucently, means something which is very blurred. When the road is foggy, and the fog, or you can say the steam, sticks on the mirror, it is translucent, it becomes translucent. And when I talk about opaque, so when we put the curtains on the window, we couldn't see the part over it. Through it the light is not passing now, so opaque fencing is a example of it. Now, let's talk about the summary in short. All objects around us are made up of one or more material. Materials are sorted into group based on their properties. The material used to make an object depends on the properties of the object or the purpose which object is used. Okay, appearance. Two types, lustrous, non-lustrous. Solubility, two types, soluble, non-soluble. Hardness, soft and hard. Transparency, transparent, opaque, and translucent. Density, you can say density, or float or sink, float and sink. Question of the day is, what is the need of for classification? You need to comment me down that what is the need of classification. Classification means sorting, or you can, how, in what ways you can classify an object. O- okay, so we can tell it as sorting only. Comment me down the question of the day below, and please, if you will be supporting us, so we will be making more and more videos for you guys. And please like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel, comment me down the question of the day below, and turn on the notifications to get the notifications of video from Study Vibration. Thank you very much. Bye bye.